Michelle is a marketing strategist, business coach, and multi-passionate entrepreneur who helps women build visibility, attract clients, and monetize their expertise. After being fired from her 9 to 5 in 2016, Michelle turned her side hustle into a thriving business and never looked back. She is the founder of Thames Media Solutions, host of the Social Media Decoded podcast, an excellent podcast, mind you, and creator of the Elevate and Empower coaching community, where she teaches entrepreneurs how to grow their business through strategic marketing and personal branding. Michelle is also the author of the upcoming book, From Side Hustle to Success, and a sought after speaker who empowers women to take control of their brands and create financial freedom.
Mompreneurs, it's not business, baby. It's business and babies. Whether you're rocking the carpool line, building your business during nap time, or dreaming big after bedtime, we've got the tools, tips, and strategies to help you grow your business. Grab a snack, your headphones, and enjoy this time with us, because mom life and boss life deserve balance.
Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So, take us on your journey on how you went from your 9 to 5 to where you are now.
Yeah, so fortunately and unfortunately for me, I was fired from my 9 to 5. So I have a background in healthcare administration, went to school, did all the things, that your parents say do. And I thought that I was going to be a hospital administrator. I really had goals and dreams to really run clinics and help people that way. But God saw very differently for what I was supposed to be doing. And that opportunity was taken from me. I was fired in 2016, but fortunately, I had a side hustle. I started a blog all about natural hair. So, my previous blog, which is still up and you can go take a look at it, is called Happily Ever Natural. And I started that really as a passion project because I didn't have any hobbies or anything. Like I was a party girl in my early 20s and God really called me to just create something where I could help other women. So that's where my blog was birthed. And so when I was fired from my job, I said, you know what? I could actually bet on myself and do this. And so I started to freelance, did some freelance writing for naturallycurly.com and really reached out to my contacts and the people that I knew and made opportunities for myself. And because I put myself out there, I was also able to be noticed by a startup beauty brand, Mayo Organics. And I knew the owner. We had met and had lunch. And one day I ran into her at a expo and she was like, "Oh, I need someone to help me with my social media." And so I got the job and I was able to help that brand go from startup to a household name, help them grow to over 500,000 followers on Instagram alone. And I really learned everything that you really need to know about like running an online business. And so I decided to take that. Well, God actually decided, He said, your time is up here. This is, their dream. While it was a great experience, I knew that I could help more people. And so I took those skills and expertise and everything that I've learned in my time in working 9 to 5s in healthcare to build my own business. And so me and my husband started our digital marketing agency, and I haven't looked back.
Amen. Oh my God, what a powerful story. I mean, from 0 to 500, that's a lot, right? So what do you think is the secret in having a mass following?
Well, like for a brand like that, I think for entrepreneurs and personal brands, I don't think virality or like shooting for the large numbers should be the case. But particularly for the brand, when I first started, it was already a kind of well known brand, like they were getting their name out there. But I think where I really helped was the visibility piece in organic marketing because we worked with an ads team that did the ads. But I think when it comes to growing a large following like that, it's really being strategic about where you are online. And so I teach the same thing to entrepreneurs who have their personal brands. It's about really showing up in the right places. And I think Instagram was a really great place it's still a great place, but back in 2016, you could grow rapidly. And so I saw opportunity there to really position the brand as a household name and to partner with different influencers to really help them build that. And so I think when I started, they may have had 200,000 followers. It wasn't zero. So I can't take credit for like everything, but just to be able to increase their visibility from that, I think it definitely depends on the platform. So Instagram is a great place for visibility, especially for product-based businesses. And I saw opportunity there when it came to just really cultivating an experience and storytelling, leaning into the storytelling of the founder and why she created the business, I think is what really helped the brand grow as well. And she had a personal brand, which in turn helped the business brand really grow. And so that's what we really leaned into there.
Yeah, I think I think that's something to know is that social media back then is a lot different than social media now. So what would you say for us mom entrepreneurs on where we should focus our time when it comes to social media?
This is a great question. I think you should really focus on where your audience is. Your audience may not be everywhere, and you should have what I like to call a visibility rhythm. For me, I always want to start with my podcast, which is like my anchor, right? So if that's YouTube for you, LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, but just starting with that anchor platform and building off of that and repurposing your content on every other platform. Because we're moms, because a lot of us are wives, we have a lot of things to do and a lot of things to juggle. And I think the last thing we want to worry about is posting here, posting there, and it just being all over the place. So having a strategic plan on where you are posting, I think is the key. So starting with something like LinkedIn and then taking that LinkedIn post, okay, maybe I can create reels from this. I can create carousels from the same exact content that you're sharing and not burning yourself out. I think that there are a lot of people online that say post every day, post 16 times a week. Who can realistically do that as a mom? And you don't have to do that to be visible. I think, again, having a visibility rhythm that works for you. And when I say works for you, I mean for you as a person. You can look at me, you can look at Linda and say, I see they're everywhere. They're doing all these things, but we've been doing this for years and years. If you are new to this, if you are just starting out, it's unrealistic to think that you can just be everywhere. You can't, right? So starting out really focusing on that main anchor platform and really repurposing your content on other platforms to increase your visibility. So that's what I teach my clients. That's what I use myself. I plan weekly as well. I used to plan and batch like all this content, but realistically, for the point that I am in my life right now, that just doesn't work. So I plan every week, like for 90 minutes, what is the content going to be for this week? And then I focus that way because I think if you try to cram everything and do all the things, we're just going to be overwhelmed as mompreneurs. And that's just simple.
Yeah, well, that's powerful, that's insightful, right? I think it takes off the pressure on, I gotta post every day. Because I agree with you. I believe to have either a YouTube channel, podcast, or blog. Well, blog, no question. I use AI to help me have the omnipresence, right? With an app called Missing Letter. I brag about it all the time. And basically it posts to LinkedIn, it can post to Instagram, it can post to your Facebook group. And I think that helps. But I think knowing your audience and where they're at, definitely a major point. Sometimes people are on TikTok and maybe their audience is not there, or they're in Instagram and their audience is not there. So sometimes maybe they should look at their strategy if they're not growing, maybe rethink and be like, okay, what do I need to tweak, or where is actually my audience? So these are really insightful things for people to take note and work on, right? What would you say is the biggest thing that someone should work on when growing their business?
Oh, this is a good question, kind of tricky. I think it really depends on the business owner. Like, what are your goals? And when it comes to visibility, I think that again, we want to be everywhere, but we should strategically think where is important for me and like what should I really focus on? A lot of people focus on Instagram, but to be honest, Instagram isn't like your business. Like that shouldn't be the foundation. It should really be, okay, am I trying to attract leads? Am I trying to get speaking engagements? What is your real goal when it comes to social media? Because I don't believe that you should just be all over the place everywhere. You should really have strategic goals. And for me, I definitely am a speaker. I want to continue to increase my visibility so that more people know who I am and that more people can book me for speaking engagements. So, like, that's my goal. So, I think that you should really focus on what your actual goals are with your business and not look at what everybody else is doing because you can easily be swayed and just be all over the place and discouraged when you see like, "Oh my god, like Michelle's showing up on she's doing all these things," but you have to remember we have different goals than you. Your goals might be, "Okay, I want to use my platform so that I can get more podcast interviews," or, "I wanna use my platform so that I can sell my digital products and be with my kids and, make money in my sleep." So, you really should focus on what your goals are. Again, I see a lot of people focusing on Instagram because it is a popular platform, but that's not your business. Like, that is not the business. Your business is what are you doing? Like, what is your transformation that you provide to people? Like, for me, right? I help people increase their visibility so that you can attract the right clients and that you can monetize your skills and expertise because I feel like you are like your ideal client. I'm my ideal client because I'm multi-passionate. I'm doing all the things. And sometimes multi-passionate entrepreneurs like me and you can be all over the place, but bringing it back to really what are the true goals and working from there. Yes, you can have a podcast, you can do events, you can do retreats, you can, speak, but being realistic in your goals and working, I like to say backwards, like to really help reach your goals.
Yeah, that's great. I think sometimes we do have to kind of like reconstruct the wheel, right? Hey, what's my goals and how can I best attain it? And like take a moment, right, to really sit down and think about that. Like for me, my goal is not to be in speaking engagements. I mean, if an opportunity pops up, wonderful, but that's not really like my goal to or my goals. My goal is more to create a passive income or like how you said, being your ideal client. Like for me, I'm my ideal student. I'm an ideal buyer because I do invest in myself. I do invest in learning knowledge. And that's why I tell people like, hey, teach if you're going to do a course or if you want to do a digital product, teach a skill set because I know for me, those are items that I do invest in because I want to know what skill am I going to walk away with in participating, in your product or in your service. Like, what am I going to walk away with? So services are more like, walking away with a clear, like it's already done for you. But when it comes to course, because I love, investing in courses and stuff like that, learning something new. I'm always like educating myself on certain things. So I do like that idea of like, hey, are you your own ideal client? I try to tell my own students is like, what makes you buy? I think people don't ask themselves those questions, right? Like, what makes you buy? Have you actually questioned yourself of what made you make that last investment? So, Michelle, what makes you buy?
Oh, this is good. I think being clear. A lot of us don't have clarity. Really being clear on what the transformation is. If you say that this course is going to help me create my podcast in 60 days, I'm expecting to be able to create my podcast in 60 days. I'm just delivering. We're in this world right now. We're in a trust recession, is what I've heard. And I don't know who started that. I'm not coining it, but we're in a trust recession. So really, are you being strategic and really giving that transformation, whether it's through your podcast, whether it's through a digital product, a service, really providing your client with that transformation and also being able to show other people that you can do that. So, not just doing it, but recording it, like recording the process and showing other people. That is how you will get more clients. If you actually showcase, okay, and just for example, I have a client launching a podcast. I'm showing the process because I want people to see, oh, you can actually help somebody launch a podcast in 60 days. And here's how it's done. So, really being able to show that transformation. And I think a lot of us forget that and we just want to post, but like, is the post actually have a goal, right? I don't just post to post. Every post that I post is very strategic. You will almost never see me just posting random posts, even if it's about my family, my husband. It is a strategy, right? Because I'm building a business. I'm not just posting on social media for fun while I love it. This is a business and it is the way that I get clients. It is the way that I am visible. If I do not post, no one will know about me. And yes, I've been doing this for going on 16 years, but I still have to post. There's still people that know nothing about me. There's still new people that find out about me every day. And if I don't show up at least, I say 3 times a week, right? Just show up so that people can see that transformation. And I think that's what we're really missing.
I like how you said like we're in a trust recession because I didn't realize, but maybe that's a good thing. But in knowing that we're in a trust recession, what do you feel like people should focus on? Like for me, for instance, I really think like community is key. That's how I've grown my business. That's how I've grow my business. And whenever I go, to a networking event because of how I strategically done my social channels or my social media and stuff like that, people become a client. Like, recommending me and stuff like that. And when they come into the world, because of the way things are laid out, usually it converts. But that's because I'm focused more on the community aspect. What would you say, like in this trust recession, that people should focus on?
I definitely building your personal brand. And again, showing that you really are the expert because there are so many people who are not. I know a lot of people don't like talking head reels, but let me tell you, the people who are not experts, they're not going to talk on social media. They're not going to do talking reels because they don't know what they're talking about. So if you're someone who knows you're an expert, you know your stuff, show up so that people can actually see you and talk, period. I think videos are still king, and we need to focus more on videos. Now, you don't have to post 5,000 videos every week, but have a strategy on how you're actually doing that. Because again, there are so many people who say they do social media. They say they do the same things that we do, but can they really? And people like, know, and trust you, that is still real. And I think now, since we're in a trust recession, you have to show up and be in people's on their radar even more. So they say it takes 7 times, it might take 20 times, 10 times, right? For them to see and okay, Michelle does this. All right, Linda does this. I see her talking about this, but it's going to take them more time. I think you should focus on your customer journey, which a lot of people don't, right? When you get somebody into your funnel, are you even nurturing them? Do you have an email list? Because we own that. You don't own social media. As we see, it can go down, it cannot work, but you own your website. You own your email list. So really nurturing that person from the top of the funnel, which I'm getting a little technical with the marketing terms, right? To the middle of the funnel when you're nurturing them to that point of where they buy. That could be 2 years. Yesterday, I had a client, she's been on my email list for 2 years and just bought. So it is not like 2020. People probably might not buy from you right away. Now, some instances they may. I have had clients where they are super cold to me and they convert right away, but that's not my normal. And I know that that's not normal. So I don't expect it. I expect people to get on my list, really know who I am, and then they were going to buy if it makes sense to them. So I think really focusing on our customer journeys is what we should be doing in this trust recession.
I completely agree. Customer, you gotta provide an experience, and you gotta allow people to have the option to go deeper with you. And I think that's where people miss the mark in the sense of, well, all I got to do is post on IG all the time, and there's no conversation on going deeper, right? There's no CTA. Like, are you even telling people where they should go or what to do, right? And I think I've seen it. I've seen people just, man, post almost every single day and stay small, and they don't understand what they're doing wrong. And usually it's because they only have one channel, which is the Instagram. Usually, this is what I see. They just have Instagram, a form to apply for something, and that's it. And they think like, I'm gonna make it. And I really believe, because of how you said like this trust recession, you like if you have a podcast, that's a true expert, right? Why would you, if you don't know what you're talking about, well, why would you even have a podcast, a YouTube channel, or even a blog? Like how you were saying, right? So I think this is fascinating. So I know we have like a range of people that listen to the podcasts. We have from beginners to intermediate, but a lot of them, they want to scale their business. They want to grow their business. If someone was just starting out, right? And maybe they have a bit of a social media following, stuff like that, and they want to make their business a reality, like a real business. What do you think that they should do, or what step, like, do you have any steps, or have you ever seen in the market what should be done?
Yeah, I think it goes back to really owning in on that one platform and not trying to be everywhere. So if LinkedIn is your thing, really focus on LinkedIn first and get that down packed before you try to add any other platforms like podcasting or anything. Or start with the podcast. Honestly, if you know you're an expert, podcasting, and like you just said, is a really untapped into territory. And if you really want to be a thought leader and expert in your space, I think a podcast is the key. I started my podcast in 2020, and I think it's the best thing that I could have done for my brand because now in 2025, it has grown so much, and that is the anchor of my personal brand. I know that I can always go to my podcast and get clients. A lady just told me yesterday on my call that she came from my podcast, and I'm pretty sure she's been listening for a while, but she converted because of my podcast. And for her to tell me that yesterday made me feel really good because I know that I'm going in the right direction, right? So really owning in on that one platform, getting good with that, and then adding. And also not being so anxious or like, okay, this needs to happen now because it is a process. We are not overnight successes. I'm not an overnight success. I've been what I like to say is compound interest, right, builds results. If you show up every day, if you're consistent and not consistent again, like every day, but if you show up 3 times a week for a month, do you know how much compound interest you're building? If you post on your podcast every week, do you know how much compound interest you're building? Because people are going to listen. So really understanding that you do have to be consistent. And I know everybody says consistency is key, but it is because if you're not, no one will remember you. So if you are just starting out, know that if you are consistent, I guarantee you, you will begin to see the traction that you want to, but you have to put some skin in the game. Like we may be out here working hard a little bit in the beginning, or even now. Like I feel like I was in this kind of not necessarily a pivot, but like a rebirth and like something new that I was building, right? And so I feel like I had to put a lot more work in this time frame than I would have had to do any other time. So knowing that you might have to be up some late hours, you might, it's going to take a few iterations of things that you do. And also, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that is what I really wanna own in on and drive home is that you don't have to be perfect. It just has to be out there. We're in the messy middle. You may be in the messy middle right now, but putting it out there and we can always change it. You can always refine it, and nothing's gonna be perfect.
I love that. I felt like you gave us some grace there because saying you don't have to be perfect. Oh my gosh, how many of us have stopped ourselves from posting or showing up because our background is not perfect, our makeup is not perfect, or something is not perfect, right? Or even the way we deliver is not perfect. I think it can be so intimidating on starting a podcast because we're judging our voice. Oh, it's not a perfect news anchor voice, just for reference, or it's not perfect, in XYZ, but you're right. I think perfectionism stops people in their tracks. I mean, I've definitely been there, but one of the things that I have realized within my own life is like, why am I going to allow myself not to dream or go for my dreams because I'm scared? Like, what is there to lose, right? Because I always, maybe I'm a bit morbid, but I think about like death sometimes in this instance. It's kind of like, how am I going to leave this world? Like, what really matters in that sense is like, is it really going to matter? Like, oh, Linda didn't show up perfectly. Is that really going to matter? No. What's going to matter is the impact you make, the lasting impact you make from you being yourself and delivering what God has given you to utilize in this world, right? To make that impact and save a life. I mean, shoot, make a life better. One of my prayers lately has been, God, show me the goodness, the depths of your goodness. Because we can get so caught up in all these trials and tribulations, but like, shoot, you know what? Let me pivot. God, show me the depths of your goodness, how good life can actually be. That's one of my prayers. I'm expecting that. But I love that. I think you're spot on with that. Okay, so now we've conquered the game as like mindset. We're going for it. We're not no longer looking at perfection. We're looking at progress over that. We're being consistent. Where do you feel as though like we're business owners, where should be our first like what should we solidify for? Because I have different thoughts on what it is to solidify, right? I think that we should first solidify like a consistent stream of income, like how can you set that up? What would you say?
Oh, no, definitely. And for me, before I started really focusing on like coaching, consulting, digital products, I built my digital marketing agency first because that's the bread and butter, right? And so I was able to consistently bring in income with retainer clients. And because of that, I was able to then shift and focus on building my personal brand, doing retreats and events. But just starting out with that, I didn't want to start out with that because I didn't have the financial foundation. So you're right. You should build a consistent income stream with whatever it is that you're doing first and then venture out, because I feel like if you're trying to juggle all these different income streams, all these things, it's going to be super overwhelming. So I will say that that is how I did build my business. I did start with one client and I built on that. I said, okay, I'm going to do one client for $1,000, like literally. And I built from that. So just think of how you can really build consistent income and utilize grants. Look at all the things that are available to us, especially for new entrepreneurs. There's so many grants, there's so many things, but you also have to be willing to be consistent, to fill out the applications, and to do it on a consistent basis if you want to generate that revenue. So I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed people thinking that, showing up all the time versus really like how you're converting clients. Like I have built my business on always thinking of like, okay, what brought that person in and how can I recreate that? Especially when it came to like dream clients, I'm like, bam, this was amazing. How can I recreate this experience again and again and again? So that's one of the things I focused on. And how can I keep a client long term versus, keep them in, keep them in. Come on, I got to take care of you. I'm taking care of you for life, okay? Something like that. What would you say to someone that has yet to kind of like build that stream? Is it going to be content that they focus on? Is it going to be a strategy that they focus on? Should they hit spaghetti on the wall?
No, I definitely think it's strategy. It is strategy. And like you said, really figuring out what is that going to be? Because like you said, I think having long-term clients is really ideal. I mean, that is how I have built my agency. I've had my longest client for going on 4 years. And so that shows like, okay, well, that is something consistent, right? Obviously, I want to recreate that experience for the other clients in our digital marketing agency. So really figuring out like what are we doing here and how can, like you said, we recreate that process. But please don't throw spaghetti at the wall. Please have a plan. And yes, I think you should focus on content because content is what is going to bring those people to you. If you never post on these platforms, how are people going to find you? So focusing on the right type of content though, not just again posting to post, but for instance, if you know that you're trying to sell a VIP day, you probably you can get like your auntie or cousin or something and recreate the VIP day, even if you don't have the clients then, but you need to show what it's going to be like and focus on the type of content that are going to bring in the clients. And it may not be right away. Like they might not start knocking down your doors, but you have to be consistent in posting that type of content. Yes, content is king, but not all content. I don't believe in going viral. I'm not here to go viral. I'm here to make a difference. So really focusing on, I like to say edutainment is another thing that I focus on, right? Really educating my clients, but making some of it entertaining because social media is also entertaining. No one wants to watch boring people online. I guarantee you it is probably because of your personality and they like you. People are buying into you. When people buy and come into my programs, they like me. They like my personality. They like what I stand for. I don't think they're necessarily buying into what the program is. Like they could go to any program, but what they are buying into is me and my personality and the feelings that I make them feel. So really just be yourself and show up in the right places.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna just have a conversation because I feel like, we're growing our businesses and stuff like that. And we have like the same thought patterns as far as, certain things. One of the things that I really believe is what you said, be yourself because people are investing in you. They're investing in the way that you deliver and how you said, like the way that you make them feel. I think that's crucial and key. And once you understand that, you understand that there is no competition. You get what I'm saying? Because even if someone does the same thing that you do, no one can deliver it the way that you do. No one can make it the way that you do, regardless of what it is, right? And so I think finding your secret sauce and getting comfortable in your secret sauce, I think that's also key. What has been the number one question that you received in your business, like as you grew your business?
Like, I mean, what people have, like, asked me, and I just got this, like, yesterday. It's like, "Michelle, how do you do it all? Like, how do you balance all these things?" And I think I'm just a very organized person. If it's not on my calendar, it can't happen because even with this podcast, I was like, "Girl, I know I saw it on there, but, like, I wake up every day and see, like, what do I have to do? Like, what are my things to do?" I make lists. I try not to just put all the things on my calendar or, my list for the day and just really be strategic on how I'm moving, because it can be very overwhelming. But a question that I do get a lot is, Michelle, like, how do you do it all? Your mom, your wife, your daughter plays basketball, you're doing all these things. But I try to be very organized. I mean, if it everything has a place, my calendar has to be color coded and all the things. So just being very strategic about that. And not saying yes to everything. I don't say yes anymore to just all the things. It has to make sense. It has to really fit in alignment with what I'm doing and what God has called me to do. Like, I can't just do random things, show up on random people's events, random people's podcasts. Like, it has to make sense to what you're doing, I think. So that's, like, the number one question that I do get, and just, also, like, just about content. People wanna know, like, what to post, but I think, again, that goes back to really what are your goals and what are your intentions?
It all depends on like the different types of businesses, right? Post your product if you have products. Post before and after if you're a wellness and fitness instructor. Post talking head if you have educational, digital products that you want to sell, right? I think there's so many different approaches into selling. Sure, you can do talking heads for just about any business, including a product-based business, right? But I do believe in making just keep it simple. I think we complicate things, and I think content, like you were saying, I think content is queen. Cash is king, content is queen. Because the queen can move anywhere on the board, and that's content. It can move anywhere on the board. We talked about getting consistent. We talk about, hey, focus on one thing, make it successful, be excellent in that one, where your audience is and be excellent there, pretty much. And we talked about having a deeper form coming into kind of like a podcast, having an anchor, right? Something that your hub, that's what I call it, a hub, right? Because everything flows from that hub and understanding where that hub is, and then branching out, creating that consistent, sustainable income and how to create that. And so the next question is, what is Michelle doing? So, like, because you've done all these things. So now, where's your next goals? Like, are you trying to be like a speaker? You are a speaker, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like Jackie Perry, like, are you trying to go global with your speaking engagements? Or are you focused on your personal brand and making that like a household name? Where are you?
Oh, yeah, this is a really good question. And yes, I definitely want to be a global speaker, but I'm gonna be completely honest and like I don't aspire to be like a Sarah Jakes Roberts having like 600,000 people at my event. Like, I love small, intimate. I really am leaning more into retreats and events. And so, yes, building my personal brand as well. So I would love to be a global speaker. So, Shadi, if you're looking for a speaker, you're listening, and you're in Dubai or something, like I would love that because I actually love to travel. It is like what brings me so much joy to get on an airplane and go somewhere new. But yes, I'm really focusing on my speaking. I would love to be a well sought after keynote speaker, and speaker, but I am definitely leaning very much so into community and community building and with my retreats and events. So I do an event every year and I'm really focusing on having that be an annual event and focusing on my retreats that I do every year. So being a well-known retreat leader is something that I just started 2 years ago and it's been going amazing. And so that is where I'm focusing a lot of our time. And also in our digital marketing agency, we are focusing on like community driven, helping clients build their communities, whether that's Facebook, whether that's online events, really focusing and owning in on community. So that's pretty much where I'm headed.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you've achieved incredible success because I mean, every time I look at your IG. You're always at an event. You're always doing something. I could understand why people say, "How are you? How are you everywhere?" and still have downtime. Are you at your home at a hotel room? Because I can't tell.
I'm at
Um,
home. I'm at home. I'm at home.
how long do you stay there for an hour and then you
No. No, all the things that I do honestly are super strategic. Like that event that the 2
yeah.
events that I went to, that was super strategic. They reached out like months in advance, right? And I
Mhm.
honestly believe that in-person events is, and I know I didn't talk about this, but that is actually what we should be focused on. In-person connections. Because you know what? You know what's gonna come of those things that I just did. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired. I am tired, okay? Because I still have client work. I'm marketing director for one of my clients. I have a lot of things to do, but those events and those relationships that I just connected with and made is going to, I am sowing the seeds and I'm going to reap the benefits of that. It could be this year, it could be next year, but I know that in-person connection is valuable. So I know you like to be at home and I know you said you don't, but get out to it. And I've seen you at events, but we have to get out to events and we have to meet people face to face because then say I met someone, her name is, I'm just gonna make up somebody, Jan. Jan could be like, "Oh yeah, I know Michelle. She has, she does events, she does retreats, she has a digital marketing agency, she could help you with this, she could do this." People will think of you when they know someone who needs opportunity rather than you trying to focus everything on online. While I believe in it, I also believe that referrals and in-person connections really make a difference. And so that is something that I'm focusing on. So you're gonna see me at a few more events this year. I got one this weekend. But I know that that is super powerful, and by me showing up to events and doing that in-person connection is only gonna help to grow my business more.
Oh, 100%. I'm in agreement. I have always seen, those seeds sown in those events. I always see the fruits and the reward of those things. And that's one of the reasons why I do virtual events. Don't knock those. Those are also good.
Those are
Sometimes you can't get out of the house, especially, the kids are little or, you can't really travel like that, So sometimes that's what you got, a virtual event. So I host that once a year for monetizing mompreneurs because I've seen the impact of that. I've seen how impactful that can be as well. But you're right, in person, you can't knock. First of all, what in-person events is multiplied by 100-fold compared to what anything online does. And maybe it's because of that trust recession that you were talking about. People want to know people and want to know that you're real, especially with this whole AI thing. Things are getting serious. I saw a content creator talk about how she's made business off of her AI personalities and they're not even real people. Yeah, people are doing that. And so I think that trust recession is getting realer and realer to the point that we have to go out and meet each other, because real people want to, do business with real people. I think as entrepreneurs, we want to invest in other entrepreneurs. We want to invest in local, right? Support local. We want to invest in real people and not just AI.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, Michelle, what do you think is the number one thing that has made you successful?
Ooh, I don't
Ooh,
know if it's just one thing. I'll be honest.
aside from God Almighty.
Yes, I don't know if it's just one thing, but yes, I will say that my relationship and my like God is the head of everything. Like everything that I'm doing, and I know you said, Michelle, I see you here. Like I'm being led. This is not just something I'm making up.
Mm.
It's not just something I'm just not out here willy-nilly. Truly, God fired me from that job and said, "This is not where you're supposed to be." And so I feel like I'm walking in my calling. When you are walking in your purpose, you will absolutely know. You will absolutely know that that is what you're supposed to be doing. So I get everything that I do, it's not me. It is God leading me to do these. I think that I'm just a super consistent person. I've always been that way. I've always been, I want to say, an overachieving person. Like it's just who I am. It's just in my DNA. And so I just really stick to what I know and what I know I'm good at. If you know that you're good at something, you should just do that. And some of us are good at multiple things. Like some of us are multi-passionate. And I think that you should really stick to what you're good at. I will say that consistency has been probably the number one reason why I am successful. I will not give up no matter what is thrown at me. And don't think that I don't go through anything. Like, I know you all see highlight reels, but that's what people share on social media. I do try to share as well, like the downfalls. And I mean, even when we've been talking, when you helped me with our website, I was going through a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know what, God, I'm just gonna keep going. I know that there's a reason to this, like these things they get thrown at you, but if you're a person of faith, know that if you're supposed to be doing this, God won't take it away. So I just keep going. Whatever is thrown at me, I'm just gonna keep going. But I will say, probably for me, it's consistency. I have the consistency muscle. I'm gonna show up even when I'm tired because I'm tired today, but I'm here, right? Because I know that I made a commitment. I'm a person too. I do not like to let people down. I know that's like could be like a bad thing, but like if I made a commitment to something, I'm probably gonna go through with it. So being consistent, I think, has been my number one reason of success. No matter what comes my way, I'm gonna keep going.
What do you tell yourself on the tough days to stay motivated and keep going? Because, we all have those tough days, those tough moments. I mean, shoot, today hasn't been a great day for me, but I'm here. you know? But what do you tell yourself on tough days to stay motivated and keep going?
My favorite scripture is Matthew 6:33. Like, seek him first. Like, that's what I tell myself every day. Like, God's got you, girl. And I'm a person, I don't worry about anything. And people may think I'm crazy, but to be honest, why am I going to worry when I know that it's going to be okay? He would not place anything on us that we can't bear. It's going to be okay. I tell myself every day, girl, it's gonna pay off. Just keep going. Cause like you said, like it's been a crazy week. I flew from Florida back to Chicago to an event. My daughter, she got picture day. Like I had a client launching a podcast. It's like so many things going on. But I'm like, you know what? This is what you asked for. You asked to be at home with your daughter. You asked to live the life that you want to live where you could wake up at 5. If I want to wake up at 9, I could do that. You asked to do this. And so knowing that is what keeps me going. Because to be honest, I was fired from my job. So my mindset of even just like going back to that type of lifestyle is not something that I believe in. And so I'm going to keep going every day. If I got to sell shoes out the back of my trunk, if I got to sell water bottles, whatever it is, I'm just going to keep going. But I stay grounded in the word. Like, you have to, if you want to, especially be an entrepreneur. I don't know how people are doing it if they're not, because that is how I keep going every single day.
Yeah, amen. Faith without works is dead. I mean, shoot, I also don't know how people do it without him. Oh my gosh. You did it. You believe. That's it.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
you gotta believe
you
because
gotta
because
believe.
it's crazy to be an entrepreneur when you think about it. You're stepping out on faith into something so unknown. You don't know where your next client's going to come from. You just don't, but you just trust in God. And it's been going on 6 years for me and my husband, full-time entrepreneurship. And like, I don't take that lightly. Like I said, everything is God led for me. So I'm a person of faith. And I believe that if you just have faith in what you're doing and you really believe in yourself, that's another thing. We have to have that mindset to believe in ourselves. And that's how I keep going. But girl, it's hard. I know you know. But whatever you're going through today, Linda, I just want to say it's gonna be okay. Because you've seen me at my worst. Like I was crying on the call. So like, look, it's going to be okay. And I want to tell everybody who's listening, it's going to be okay. We've asked for this life. And I think that if you just seek God first, everything it will fall into place.
Amen. I also love like counting my blessings. I remember someone told me, on her tough day, she says, "You've been here before." It's almost like, yeah, we've been here before on these tough days. This too shall pass. We're gonna get through this. And especially if we have the creator on our side, like if God be for us, who can be against us? Right? And I think that's what matters, right? Especially in these moments that, well, it just wasn't a good morning. But I think the way that we renew our minds is powerful and you can pivot with your mindset. I think that's what you have to do is kind of like you just renew your mind. I remember I have like the Bible app on my phone on my Apple Watch, and I remember I was feeling a little bit sad one morning and a scripture came up and said, why are you downcast, oh my soul? Think of his benefits, right? Because, He talks about how David, there's a story, and I've meditated on that verse, and God gave me kind of revelation that that was, one of the things that David would go through was he would minister to himself about God, in order to get out of, those things of bouts of feeling sad or feeling down. He will kind of like pump himself up. So sometimes we just got to pump ourselves up on who God is. Shoot, hold up. The creator of the universe got my back. Hold up. He said he'll fight for me if only I got to be still. Hold up. Like, wait, he says vengeance is his. I just got to sit back. He says the battle is not mine, it's his. Wait, what am I doing? Right? I think sometimes we put so much pressure on top of ourselves that really it's about sometimes constantly surrendering. Just, you know what, Lord, you got this. But what do you think is the mindset shifts? Because we can get stuck in these prisons of self-doubt, perfectionism, procrastination. Do you even suffer from procrastination? I don't think you
Yes,
do, right?
I do. No, I absolutely do. But I think not comparing yourself to other people and knowing that like everybody's going through stuff and like on social media, especially, how do you even know if they're telling the truth or not? So don't even focus on that. I think you have to have the mindset of what I like to think everybody's lying. Like I don't know who's telling the truth, right? Because if you focus in on that, you won't even move forward. So that's one mindset shift we do have to make is that everybody is not telling the truth and you don't know like who is. So don't even compare yourself. And I can't compare myself to like a Amy Porterfield, right? Like she's been doing this for like years and years. So like I can't look at her and be like, Michelle, you should be there because she's doing that. Like you can't do that because you also don't even know how many hours that person has in a day. I know that you say that we all have the same hour. We don't. We don't. So you don't know what team she has. You don't know who she has helping her. So you cannot compare yourself to other people. And I think if we start there, you'll be on a better path than before, right? So I try not to compare myself to people. There's so many people who are social media marketing strategists. Do the thing. I met somebody this past week who do the exact same thing, but I can't compare myself to her. I don't know how long she's been doing it. I only can know what I know for me. So I think comparison is a thief of joy, and we should not compare ourselves. Why don't you collaborate with that person instead? Say, hey, girl, I see you've been doing this. Maybe we should collaborate. So that's the first mindset shift is like really shift out of that mindset of comparison. The other thing is to believe in ourselves. We have to have the mindset of if I was supposed to be doing this, I should be doing this. And so just believe in yourself and your gifts and go for it. I think those are the two biggest mindset shifts that I can think of right now that will help anybody listen to this podcast.
Okay, final question. All right, because I like that. I love all those. It's true. Believe in ourselves. There's moments that you're gonna doubt, and there's moments that but I mean, the only way to get better is to keep on going. The only way to get better. I have seen it within my own business. I just get better and better with each project. I just get better and better. And that's why I'm doing my template shop because shoot, I love the designs that's coming out. But self-care, girl. What's up with that? Tell me about self-care. Tell us about self-care. How do you go about it? What do you think about it?
You have to build in self-care. I don't care if it's just getting a nap because self-care looks different for everybody and it may not be the fluffy, oh, I need to go get a massage or do this. It could just be sitting down and taking a nap. I actually love to take naps. I actually take naps in the middle of the day. If I feel like I'm tired, I will lay down and go ahead and take a nap. That is my self-care. Also, travel is therapy for me. I love to travel. So if it's just, I'm going to go away for the weekend and get a hotel room by myself, I will absolutely do that. Or if I just want to take a drive with my husband and just talk, that is self care for me. So it looks different for everybody. I don't think that the traditional getting a massage or like getting your nails done, like, okay, but like really what feeds your soul? How do you care for yourself? So it looks different for everybody. For me, I know it's definitely getting on a plane, like, that is so much self-care for me. If I could just go on a trip I was thinking today, like, because one of my clients, she has a travel business. I was telling her, "Girl, if you need me to go on a trip, let me know because that is my self-care to be able to go somewhere new." experience new cultures, see new things that I've never seen before. Or if I have seen it before, to re-experience it in a different way. Um, I don't know the last time I probably got a massage. I probably do need to go get one. I was thinking about trying out like that little IV drip thing and just, zenning out. I love to meditate, but it looks different for everybody. So I would tell those are some of the things I do for myself, but you really have to find what feeds your soul and do that for you. It could be reading a book even.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big reader. I'm an avid reader. I like listening to podcasts. That's self-care.
Yeah.
You're doing self-care right now, okay, listener?
No, it is. It is.
Right? Because you're feeding yourself. You're feeding yourself good nutritional food, right? I think self-care is about feeding your spirit man, right? That really makes you feel good and allows you to do the work that's hard, allows you to show up, allows you to send that proposal, to send that feedback form when you to do that video, to do the things you need to do, especially when it comes to procrastination. I think self-care sets you up to fight procrastination. You said you suffer from it. I don't believe you. Like,
I do.
how do you
I
battle
do.
it?
I mean, something could be on my to-do list and I'm like, "Oh, I just really don't feel like doing it." But then I just end up doing it. It may be late, but I'll eventually do it. But I sometimes do procrastinate a lot. Like, especially if it's something that like those tasks that you might not want to do, then that's where you say, well, maybe I need to like hire a VA or something because this is like not firing me up inside. So if it's not something that like fires me up, I'll procrastinate and not do it. So I absolutely suffer from procrastination.
Okay, I almost didn't believe it, but not procrastination. I'm booking that ticket.
Oh no, I'm a book a trip. I'll book a trip.
Michelle, where can people find you?
Yeah, so of course you can find me everywhere. You can find me on my new website that Linda just built for me, michellethames.com. You can find me on Instagram at Michelle L. Thames. I'm on LinkedIn, Michelle Thames, YouTube, Michelle Thames. My podcast is Social Media Decoded. And you can find me on Facebook, Michelle Thames. Very easy. Okay. Everywhere I am Michelle Thames. On Instagram, I'm Michelle L. Thames because obviously it was taken, but that's where you can find me.
Amen. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence and your insights.
No, thank you for having me. This has been such an amazing podcast.